Hey guys, so these are the last notes, video notes for this week. Woohoo! So on page 38, we're doing more polynomial applications. So last week, if you remember back, we did perimeter. This week, we're doing real world problems. That's what the word application means for area, okay? Hopefully you remember to find area from middle school, but if not, it's good. We're gonna go through example by example and I'll help you review how to find area, okay? So let's go ahead and get started. Copy down example one's two shapes. There's two different shapes. And I want you to calculate the area of each. So we need to find the area for problem A, and we need to find the area for problem B, all right? So hopefully you have those copied down. If not, pause this copy. I'm gonna keep going because we'll make it as short as I can, Prime. He told me my videos be too long, even though some of y'all don't be watching anyways. So, finding the area of a rectangle. This is a rectangle, right? Hopefully you remember from middle school that when you're finding the area of a rectangle, it equals the length times the width. I had a couple of you tell me that last week for perimeter. Perimeter is the area, or not the area, excuse me, the distance all the way around the sides. Area is the length times the width because we're finding the inside of the shape. So if I do this part times this part, then I'll shade in the whole thing, okay? So to do length times width of letter A, switch colors for y'all. We are gonna do A squared, B squared, times 3a squared b. Now, when you're multiplying, you have to figure out what kind of polynomials you are multiplying because we've done two different kinds. We've done monomials and binomials. So let's take a look at this. This is one term, right? Because it's all pushed together, times one term. This is all pushed together. 1 times 1 equals 1, so we should just get one thing here, okay? So when I'm multiplying, you guys know that we do multiply the numbers. This is an understood one, right? So 1 times 3 is going to equal 3. But hopefully you remember that we can't multiply the exponents. So when we're multiplying, what do I do with my exponents? This goes back like 3 weeks ago. Good, we're gonna add them. So if I have 2 A's here and 2 more A's here, then when I put them together, 4 A's, and then I have 2 B's here and an understood 1 B here. So when I put 2 B's with 1 more B, 2 plus 1 is gonna make 3 B's. So that is my area for letter A, okay? Now let's take a look at letter B. So letter B, again, is a rectangle. How do we find the area of a rectangle? We're going to do length times width. So let's write that out. My length is 6x plus 7, and my width is 2x minus 3. Okay, well now, when I try to multiply these two, check to see what kind of polynomials you have. 2 terms by 2 more terms. So if I have 2 times 2, I should really end up with 4 terms, right? Okay, binomial times binomial. You got 2 options. You can use a box or you can FOIL. I'm gonna box because that's what most of you seem to be using, all right? So let's check out my box. I'm gonna do 6x plus 7 times 2x minus 3. Okay. 6x times 2x gives me 12x squared now, because there's 2 of them. 7 times 2 is 14, and there was an x. 6x times negative 3 is going to be negative 18x. And then 7 times negative 3 is negative 21. So now I want to simplify it, combine what I can. I see 2 x's right here that I can put together. and then I'm going to put it in standard form. So this is going to be 12x squared. The negative 18 and the positive 14 have different signs, so different means subtract. 18 minus 14 is 4, and 18 is bigger, so the 4 should be negative. And then I'm going to bring over the negative 21 last because it doesn't have an x. Okay? So this is my answer right here. That's my area of this rectangle. So if they give us a rectangle, the area should be pretty easy because you guys know it's just length times width. The important thing is to make sure you either have monomials or binomials. You need to check so that you multiply the right way. Okay? All right, so let's do example 2. We're going to calculate the area again, but this time we're going to calculate the area of a square. Okay, so it's already different, right? Got to get my example out. Calculate the area of a square whose side measures, let's see, what's that, 8? 4x plus 8. All right, so this one's different because 1, I gave you a different shape. I gave you a square. But 2, I also didn't draw it for you. I gave you the measure. So this is what I need you to do. You need to go draw it. So we have a square. Remember, square, all 4 sides are the same. And the sides measure 4x plus 8. Okay? Well, what do you guys know about a square? What did I literally just say like 10 seconds ago? All of the sides are the same, right? So when we have a square, hopefully you learned in middle school that the area of a square is also length times width, but the length and the width are going to be the same, okay? So you could write this one, because we're doing 4x plus 8 2 times, right? So we know from yesterday that this 4x plus 8 squared equals 4x plus 8 times 4x plus 8, right? All right, and for this example, I am going to FOIL. I'm going to try to do it different ways for you guys. So let's go ahead and FOIL this one. So if I do the first term times the first term, 4 times 4 is 16, and there were 2 x's, so that's x squared. Now I'm going to do the first term times the last term, so 4x times 8 is 32x. Then I'm going to do the inside term times the inside. F was first, O was out, I is in. So 8 times 4 again is 32, and there was an x right there. And then the last term for L, 8 times 8 is 64. Okay, so now when I go to simplify this, hopefully you see that we can do 32x plus 32x. That's 64x. I'm going to bring down that plus 64 at the back, and I'm going to bring down the 16x squared in the front. Okay? So calculating the area of a square is also the same. This problem was just different because I didn't give you the picture. You had to draw it. That's fine. You guys should know how to draw a square. Okay? All right. We got 2 more examples, and then we will be done. I'm going as fast as I can while still teaching you everything you need to know. I just miss y'all too much. That's why I'm talking too much. All right. Example 3. We're going to do calculate the area. And I'm going to give you guys the picture for this one. So we've got a new shape. New shape. That should make y'all excited, right? Some of you are like, oh, no. Okay, calculate the area. The shape I gave you is a triangle. So let's review back to middle school. How do we find the area of a triangle? Okay, I always have kids mess this up because in middle school you guys tried to memorize a formula, right? All right, well, I want you to look at this triangle like this. If I try to connect those other two sides, do y'all agree that my triangle makes half of a rectangle, right? Okay, so my triangle is length times width, because that's how we find the area of a rectangle, right? But I just told you it's only half of it. So how can we find half of something? Divided by 2, right? So the area formula you guys learned in middle school was base times height divided by 2, or 1/2 base height. Base is just another word or term for width. Height is just another term for length. Triangle, I can do length times width and then divide that by 2 because this triangle makes half of a full rectangle, okay? So watch, for this problem, we're gonna do length times width. So I'm doing 4m squared times 3mn squared. And I want you guys to look at this before you start trying to multiply and getting crazy, because some of y'all be getting crazy when you don't even know what you're supposed to be doing. Cool out, okay? You're multiplying one term by one more term. We do not need a box. We do not need to FOIL. It's just one thing times one more thing, okay? 4 times 3 is 12. Now when I put all of these m's together, you need to figure out how many m's we have now. So I have 2 m's and then another one that makes 3 m's. Right? Okay, good. And then n squared, there's no other n's, so you're just going to bring over n squared, right? All right, that was the length times the width. This is not your answer. That would be the whole rectangle. We don't want a rectangle, we want a triangle, which is half. So I'm just going to divide by 2. What's 12 divided by 2? 6m cubed n squared. That's how you find the area of a triangle, okay?